My next guest takes on Antonio Rogerio Nogueira coming up here at UFC 237 on May 11th. It is Superman Ryan Spann joining me here. Ryan, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, man?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it. I mentioned we got this fight coming up here pretty quickly. When are you actually heading down to Brazil?
I leave Monday night on the red eye, so I'll get there Tuesday.
Okay, that's good. Gives lots of time to get acclimatized and everything like that. And it's been a bit since we've seen you in the cage. I know you were supposed to fight in February. You had an injury that pulled you off that UFC 234 card. What was the injury and how long was the recovery time?
A broken hand.
Oh, that would do it.
Yeah, yeah. I honestly tried to fight with it, but they wouldn't let me.
Really? Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't have passed. I wouldn't have been able to pass the inspections and whatnot. But it took a little minute. It took longer than we expected, but we got through it. We made it through camp, so we're officially done now.
And did you get a chance, I mean, at the end of last year to soak in everything that you did? You won on Contenders. Well, first off, you won the LFA title, you won on Contender Series, and then you got that first UFC victory. You had a really good 2018. Were you able to kind of take all that in and just look back on your success?
Honestly, I haven't thought too much about it. It's one of the things, once it happened, I just kind of let it go and keep moving forward. We're on a mission to get some stuff done, so those are just like drops in the bucket compared to what we're trying to do. So I haven't really thought too much into it.
Let's talk about your last fight. You get that unanimous decision over Luis Henrique at UFC Fight Night 137. I know that was a while ago, back in September, but how satisfied were you with that win? I know you would have liked the finish.
I guess I can say I was pretty satisfied. I think one judge gave him a round. I didn't care too much for that. But a win is a win, man. Yeah, we won. That was the goal. Ultimately, we wanted to get a finish, of course, but, it kind of messed up my finish streak I had going. But like I said, a win is a win. I got the 2 checks that I went there to pick up. And so that's really all that matters, basically at the end of the day.
Were there jitters in the debut? It didn't look like it, but, fighters never reveal that leading up to the fight. It's usually after the fight they'll say. How did you feel in there?
I felt good. I felt like I belonged, so there was no jitters at all. I felt fine.
Okay. So you're fighting Little Nog. This is a huge fight. Obviously a legend in the sport. Was he someone you watched growing up, or was he someone that once you got in the UFC, you kind of kept an eye on?
I've seen bits and pieces on him beforehand coming up. It's hard to say if I just really watched him coming up. I know about him. I know who he is. He definitely has name value. That's why we asked for the fight. He has name value. And he is a legend. They say, you want something, you got to go get it. He's a legend, that legendary status. So we're coming for it.
How do you feel like you match up against him in this fight?
It's hard to say because I don't really watch film. So I feel like I match well against anyone. I don't think there's really no one can beat me outside of me, and I felt that way for a very long time. And that's pretty much what I've shown is I'm the only person that could beat me. So I feel I do fine. I will be able to do whatever I want to do.
Are you just a guy that, your coaches, you just put trust in them and just sort of go on autopilot, listen to their instructions and not worry too much about the opponent?
Correct. Put trust in my coaches, trust in myself. I've been training since I was a baby. So I'm 28. That's 26 years of training. So I put trust in my coaches. They've been doing it for a very long time. My brother been doing it for a very long time. He'll be in my corner. Coach Safe has been doing it for 30-some years. So they've seen a lot, and it just, I kind of go with it. Whatever we want to do, we'll be able to do.
Talk about training camp. Fortis MMA, one of the hottest camps in the game right now. Who have been some of your main training partners for this camp?
Kennedy, Alonzo, Minifield, Rashard Coulter, and I worked with a bunch of the guys, but those are my guys though.
That's a killer's row right there. Do you have to cut much weight to get to 205? Because I know at one point, you fought even lighter than that.
Yeah, I've I basically, since I've started, I've moved from 70. So now we're at 205, and the goal was for it to be an easy cut, and it's still to be an easy cut because now I have this. I call him like a mad scientist, Mike Scatia, that I work with my strength and conditioning when I'm in Dallas. So it's my cardio, my weight is on point at this moment, but coming into it, being off with a broken hand, and I just had a baby, so like my weight was up there, but now we're good. That's like the biggest I've ever been coming into this camp, though.
And do you think it's a benefit that you fought in Brazil in your last fight? Because I know for some fighters it takes a bit to get adjusted with the surroundings and the flight and everything else.
Well, I'm 6'5", man. I need leg room. I hate being on planes. So anywhere I have to go, I don't really care too much for it. If I had my way, if they can pay me what they pay me for me to fight in my backyard, that's fine with me. Yeah, I don't care to travel to see anything. But yeah, I do think it's a benefit because now I know what to expect. I know what to see. But my last fight was in Sao Paulo. This fight is in Rio, so it's gonna be a little different. The fight is about the same, so at the same time, like I said, I know what to expect now.
Who's going to be in your corner for this fight? Because I know sometimes when you go to Brazil, you only get like one cornerman. Do you have to pay a second one to come out?
Well, last time it was me, my brother, and my coach. So my brother has always been in my corner for the most part. Whenever he's not been able to work, especially as a pro, he's been there. I think the majority of my fights as a pro. So he's going to be there, and coach is coming. And it kind of helps too that I have my teammate fighting Carlos. So that kind of helps split some of the differences. But I'm paying for my coach to come, and then I also have my coach from Memphis, Brian Hall, coming. So I'll have 3 corners.
How do you see this fight playing out on May 11th? Are we going to see another finish here?
Ideally, yeah, you'll see another finish. I want to do something spectacular. I'm trying to move my family to Dallas, so I'm trying to get a bonus. On top of that, I'm trying to homeschool my kids next year. I got to get them out of school systems. So I want that bonus.
How come you're homeschooling your kids? Just the system isn't very good?
Yeah, I don't care too much for the system. I don't like most people's kids. I'll put it like that. Kids are very mean. I don't like it. I have to deal with the stories that my kids come home and tell me about dealing with kids. Like I was bullied coming in, going through school, and it was difficult for me, especially because I knew how to fight. I've been training, and I just didn't want to have to hurt someone. So I put up with it, and I don't want my kids to have to put up with it. So I want to take them out of the schools, and I want to homeschool them.
Good for you, man.
Plus, I just love having my kids around.
Yeah, so who's doing the homeschooling, you or you'll get someone to come in your house?
I'm trying to get it to where if my wife can do it, like do this online thing that we're looking into, and then they'll be able to video chat with the teacher when they need to.
Okay. As far as bullying goes, like, do you ever interact with the other parents where you're like, hey, what's going on here? Like, because I would imagine as a professional fighter telling another parent, like, hey, back off, you'd think they'd listen.
Well, we haven't gotten that far. I've had to go to my son's school numerous times about stuff that was going on with him. Like, they know me. And it kind of got to the point to where it's funny because he's right here right now. It's gotten to the point to where they all know me. And I told them, I was like, I had to put up with this. We had a meeting. I was like, I had to put up with this. I don't want my son to have to put up with this. And I told them that he has this system that we put into places where, all right, someone's picking with him, he'll tell the teacher, or he'll tell them to stop. He'll ask them to stop. If that don't happen, he'll tell the teacher that they're messing with him. If that don't happen, then he handle it himself. And then at that point, they don't need to call me because I don't care. And so it actually have been to that point where he had to hit someone once? A lot of times. Oh, a lot of times. Where he had to hit someone. And yeah, and so we go out for ice cream on those days.
Good for you, man. Well, yeah, you can't let these kids push you around, and I think that's good parenting right there. And good on you for recognizing that, because a lot of parents would just keep their kids in school and tough it out. But you see the value in education, right? And it's probably distracting them a little bit too.
Right. They're so smart. And I know a lot of the times is he's so smart. He's done before everyone else. Like last year, he was the smartest. And matter of fact, they just handed me, my wife handed me something where he's outstanding participation in the spring readathon. Oh wow! So yeah, he's real smart, man. So I don't need. I told his principal, I don't send him to school to have to come up here and deal with all this. I send him to school to learn. And so they're not doing much about it. So we're gonna homeschool them. Plus, I get to have my kids around.
Yeah, super important. I think that's great, and that comes from good parenting, and obviously not just a parent, but someone we like to see watching in the cage. Ryan, thank you so much for the time, man. It was great talking to you. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you have any sponsors or shout outs, the floor is yours, man.
Thank you. You can find me on Instagram at Superman_Spann. It's also the same thing for Twitter. And my sponsors, Kinsel Ford, Flipper Skin Flicks, and they've been like with me for so long. Also, Fit Meals Prep, they helped me get my weight down, and of course my gyms, Fortis MMA, and Reform Ortho and Sports Rehab. Dr. Man, he's been taking care of my body, making sure my body, because like when you have to do a lot, training as hard as we train, our bodies break down. So coach will break us down, and then Dr. Man will fix us up. And then we have Mike Scatia, my strength and conditioning coach.